Hello, everyone. I'm Danish Khan from ETTelecom, and today we have Mr. Tareq Amin, CTO of Rakuten Mobile, to talk about 5G and to give a perspective on how Rakuten Mobile has launched 5G last year and what sort of challenges the company faced. So, Tariq, I would like to know more about how have you launched 5G, what sort of challenges you faced, how technology helped Rakuten launch the new technology last year.
Thank you very much, Danish. As usual, very delighted to be with you here. When we build a platform of Rakuten, we have innovated at four strategic levels. One is about disaggregation of radio. And I would like to say that Rakuten have unlocked the mystery for radio access by launching an innovative OpenRAN platform for both 4G and 5G. Second is about unification of cloud, and a cloud, whether it is serving large data centers, regional data centers, and edge data centers, and massive automation, hyper automation, relentless around how we launch this network. And last but not least, but it's also a critical factor, building a platform organization should not be underestimated into the journey of how we build and orchestrated this network. While 4G was for us a phenomenal launch to build an end-to-end virtual environment for both 4G workload as well as 5G workload. However, in 5G, we wanted to innovate and move away from virtual machine and deploy the world first containerized cloud native architecture microservices platform for radio access. This also been, by the way, a challenging journey. It hasn't been very simple and very easy to go away from VMs, especially in radio access, to a completely disaggregated, decoupled microservices architecture for 5G. But we have managed to do this, and we've launched successfully our 5G network in Japan. Not only launched it to manage resiliency, capacity, elasticity, but also looking at phenomenal performance. In fact, for both the spectrum that we have, which is in millimeter wave and sub-6, we are seeing really close to what I consider to be peak achievable throughput performance that you would expect from a mobile network, the like of Rakuten. So we have achieved about 1.7 gigabits per second in millimeter wave and about 1.2 gigabits per second in sub-6. And we're very, very delighted about the uptake in terms of subscriber. And now we're very focused, obviously, on expanding the breadth of our coverage in Japan.
Sure. So how 5G is shaping up in Japan? You have other telcos also with 5G services. So what are the use cases? What are the trends which you are seeing on your 5G network in Japan?
Well, I think, for us, when we were thinking about 5G, we obviously were not just thinking about the matter of speed. From an architectural point of view, we thought that it was very critical that we need to build the world's most advanced and largest mobile edge network platform. So we have thousands of edge data centers that we have built, 50 plus regional data centers, and about 3 large data centers to carry all the workloads needed for today and tomorrow's network. So, of course, 5G has become a really accelerated development, not just for Rakuten, but all the incumbents in Japan. For us, we look at the opportunity to leverage our advanced architecture to deliver on ultra low latency applications, especially when we think about the potential of cloud gaming, the potential of AR, VR, and advanced TV applications that could take advantage of this ultra low latency. So right now, everybody is focused on building the foundation, and the foundation starts with coverage and the breadth of coverage. And then I think the use cases are going to be absolutely tremendous that could take advantage of this ultra low latency platform architecture. One thing I want to tell you, which is really fascinating, it's probably the same transition that we have seen from 3G to 4G in terms of data uptake. In our network, we are seeing 5x more data demand on 5G than 4G network of Rakuten Mobile. That tells you that the platform and the architecture that this network has been built on is really going to meet and serve data-hungry customers and subscribers. And I would tell you that just in general, we are just scratching the surface of all the possible use cases that one could imagine in 5G. So most of us are really just focused right now on building the foundation. And it is just starts with coverage and enhancements of coverage, both indoor and outdoor. And I think when we looked at the data consumption, it's just incredible when you think about 5x more data consumed on 5G network than 4G. It's really the trends that we would like to see as we go forward in building the 5G infrastructure.
Sure, sure. So you have seen networks in India, and you have seen how 4G networks were built out. And now Indian telecom operators are also looking at launching 5G technology with the help of OpenRAN. And that is the main technology Rakuten has adopted. What sort of learnings you would want to share with the Indian telecom operators, seeing that we are going to launch 5G soon?
Well, I mean, in general, what I would tell most CTOs in India, that Open RAN is a lot more than just disaggregating hardware and software. It's a massive opportunity for you to fundamentally transform the way you manage, engineer, and architect your future platform. You have a fantastic opportunity in 5G to completely depart the old world. Focus on a network that is absolutely driven by AI, machine learning, and a network that truly could achieve what I've always talked about, the vision of level 4 autonomous networking. It is very plausible and very possible to achieve a day where your traditional service assurance, traditional field maintenance, traditional field technician, you have a massive opportunity to transform all this legacy organization as you adopt new platform architecture. I think Open RAN is fundamental, but also the data foundation to how you gather data, how you gather telemetry, how you drive towards autonomous network will give India, in my opinion, a distinct opportunity to compete if they embrace these new platform designs and they look at the opportunity to fundamentally change the underlying foundation completely, even looking at systems such as legacy OSS, orchestration, and moving towards this dream and idea that autonomous network could really manage themselves, organize themselves, and optimize themselves to deliver on better service agility and better services experiences for the consumers.
Sure. You touched upon developing autonomous network and a horizontal cloud. So would you want to give more details about what is your strategy in terms of building those horizontal clouds and autonomous networks with the help of hyper automation?
So, as I mentioned earlier, the advantages that comes when you build a network that's its DNA and essence is software. You discover that the opportunity with bringing a new age platforms that are able to collect data, analyze data in real time, and take actions in real time becomes more realistic than any time in history of this telecom industry. So not only we've innovated on open networking platform architecture, but we've looked at a fundamental transformation on what we call this legacy OSS platform. We needed to do that in order to drive telemetry at every level, be able to collect data all the way from RAN to transport layer to core layer. And the network itself is going to be able to take decisions, whether it is about healing the workloads or the functions, scaling the functions, migrating the functions from one data center to the other, but do it in an autonomous manner. Those become more pragmatic and realistic than any time before. So if you look at Rakuten Mobile today, you will find that actually our operational headcount and resources is a fraction of what would exist in other mobile operators. It is largely because we've adapted a unified cloud platform that it's in essence and DNA is able to really serve fantastic use cases such as auto scaling, scaling in and scaling out, healing, such that we are able to deal with software and issues that might happen, whether it is in the virtual network function or the compute. So, but it started really with our focus on what we call relentless automation, every possible path to remove manual way of transacting and managing a network we have taken, and we moved to a fully cloudified architecture. We removed legacy thinking about how we manage capacity, how we manage resiliency and reliability into this network, and the steps towards our really end stage goal, level 4 autonomous network, has been completely laid out. And I would tell you that the foundation today has been done. Now it's about building the use cases in top of the platform that we have built in Japan.
Sure. Not just Japan, but Rakuten is working with a lot of other telcos globally through or with its RCP or Rakuten Communication Platform. So, what sort of learning you are providing to them, and what sort of needs they are coming up with when it comes to modernizing their existing network and make those networks good enough for 5G services and to enable new use cases? So, how have been those discussions with global telecom operators?
I would say that we are beyond pleasantly surprised about how potential partners and customers of Rakuten are embracing what we have built in Japan. The last 3 years have not really been an easy journey. The last 3 years have required quite a bit of significant energy in taking lots of lessons learned on how we build the network in Japan, how we scale it, how you build better resiliency and reliability to a new platform architecture. And one of the key things that we have really done and emphasized on is this concept of end-to-end automation, whether it is from radio, transport to core, and the transformation that we have done in the OSS and orchestration layer. Many of our discussion today are really very much focused on helping mobile operators transform the fundamental foundation of their platform. It started from how you gather data for service assurance, whether it is fault management, performance management, configuration management, RF planning, optimization, accounting, security, all these workloads. We really believe that we have a distinct technology that is able to help accelerate the transformation towards hyper automation. And whether you adopt OpenRAN or virtualized network or cloud native network, it's needed to transform this underlying architecture around how data gets collected from network. Let me give you an example. One key thing that we have decided to do is to remove completely all of the element management systems in Rakuten and move towards a much more modern architecture to how we collect telemetry by adopting observability framework that is able to do real-time data collection from the elements themselves, whether they are the radio element or transport or core, irrespective of the workload or function. This is one key technology that we are starting now to deploy globally with mobile operators. And I think the experiences that we had in the last 3 years have really paved the path to provide a fertile lessons learned for many of Rakuten partners and customers about, most importantly, not necessarily what to do, but also what not to do. This journey for us wasn't simple all the way. We had many stumbles during this journey, but I think those valuable journeys, we have packaged them in a very hyper automated, elastic architecture in Rakuten Cloud Platform. And so far, we are really pleasantly happy about how we're progressing on the technology, and most importantly, the perception and the feedback that we have been giving from the market globally about RCP.
Sure. I have another question on this pandemic and the need for 5G. Are you seeing that the pandemic has accelerated the move towards 5G? Maybe the countries which were not planning to launch 5G, now they have preponed their plans and are now devising their strategy to quickly launch 5G. Are there use cases?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, I think with COVID, all of us have had to learn the new normal. And for us, the new normal is about, the idea of having your office to be your home office. And regardless of wherever you are, you need to be always on, always connected, is for us the new normal. And, for most mobile operators, when you think about now the critical role that they play, they're absolutely providing mission critical communication, not just, of course, for consumers, but for businesses. Now, data connectivity becomes more vital and more critical today than any time in our history. We need better platform, better technology, and better architecture to deliver on high quality, high fidelity communication that could connect the businesses of today. And I think, to be very frank with you, I think there will be, Post-vaccination, I think all of us have to adjust to this new normal. And I think as such, building a much better platform for connectivity that deliver on a highly reliable, high quality video connectivity is very important. And I think when you look at 5G, it is really a technology that has the potential to fundamentally transform the fabric of how we deliver these services to society. This is an amazing technology. And as such, I think now the adoption on this technology, in my view, whether you look at it from mobile devices or infrastructure, is far more accelerated adoption than 4G was ever. And I think everybody is recognizing what 5G could bring, granted that you have the right spectrum and the right technology that you could deploy 5G across the country.
Sure, sure. Maybe the last question to conclude this chat. How has been the role of India in launching the RCP globally and to enable certain aspects of your 5G network in Japan? If you could shed light on that front.
Look, I think I mentioned this last time when we had this session. I think India plays a pivotal role, really pivotal role in our own transformation towards an open network platform architecture. What really is surprising to me, and I wouldn't say surprising, but more, I am beyond thrilled and excited that most CEOs of ITC industry in India have embraced the journey that Rakuten is moving towards. Not only embraced it, they wanted to participate and always calling us to say, how can we help? How can we do more? This is a spirit that we really love about why we engage with a good number of Indian service IT industry providers, largely because of their ability to help us innovate, ability to help us to disrupt. And we have a massive cultural compatibility towards what the telecom future would look like. So Rakuten continued to expand its presence, by the way, in India, doubling substantially our workforce in Bangalore and also now in Indore. And in addition, a very strategic engagement, whether you look at Tech Mahindra or Starlight, HCL, all the larger players that you would see addressing the global market segment, we are in deep partnership and collaboration to help that would help both us as well as the service providers in India to transform this industry, as well as the potential for global telecom transformation. I would tell you there is not a better, more exciting time for India, especially as India starts to becoming more apparent its capability, whether it is in hardware building or software architecture building for 5G network. I am really, really thrilled. And what an amazing year it has been from where we started and where we are now. And most of our platform, frankly speaking, are not only just built in Japan. We have a massive R&D centers in India that's helping to build RCP and helping it to globalize its platform architecture outside of Japan and, of course, to global markets.
Sure. Any last concluding comment on the technology or the way forward for the telecom industry globally?
Look, I mean, I think we always talk about technology, and of course that's a thrilling part of what we do, and it's an exciting part of my personal job. But I want to tell you something else that's also we should not forget about is the importance of human being and organization and the journey towards transformation. I think it is very critical as you build and start putting the blueprint of your future network design, not only to consider the technology, but to start thinking about what are the skill sets that you need in order to run and manage the next generation network platforms. These are not necessarily easy topics, not a simple discussion, but I really think it is one of the most critical ones to be talked about as mobile operators and CXOs are starting to think about the new platform organization that needs to be built, the reskilling of existing people, and the adoption of new skill sets and technologies that are really needed to develop the foundation of the organization in order to build next generation platform architecture, maybe like what Rakuten have done in Japan.
Sure. I think on this note, we can conclude this chat. It was an insightful session, Tariq, and always a pleasure to have you discuss the technology and the things that you are doing in Japan and globally. Thank you very much, Tariq, for
Thank you very much. It was really delighted to be with you. Thank you very much.